Well, Mark, your research looked at firewalls in particular and highlighted the fact that a large number of organisations aren't keeping their firewalls up to date. But I can just imagine the conversation between the IT manager at a mid-sized company goes to a chief exec and says, I need to spend some more money on security. He says, well, our firewall's not up to date, and what I need is a next generation firewall. And the CEO or the CFO is going to laugh. We've talked about the complexity and jargon. But tell us in the simplest terms you can, what do we mean when we're talking about next generation firewalls? What's the difference? How do you explain as an IT manager to your CFO or your CEO why this needs extra investment?
So if we look at the way that the people used to do things, most of these firewalls and proxy servers, they're doing things purely on a site-rated basis. So they're looking at a site and saying this is good or bad. Well, is BBC good or bad? Everyone say it's good. Is it good when everyone's watching the news? Or as I did in a recent demo when I was training some people, I demonstrated someone was watching the Commonwealth Games. It was brilliant. It couldn't have been better timed. And having a next generation firewall, you could turn around and say, well, actually, we're losing 8 meg of bandwidth to BBC iPlayer, and you could drill down and see who that was and what they're doing. And that might not sound a lot. Everyone's got 50, 100 meg internet connections at home, depending on where you live. But actually, most businesses are still down there with a 10 or a 50 or 100 meg internet connection. So if you're a 500 user organisation and you've got a 50 meg internet connection, you can't afford for 500 people to try and watch BBC iPlayer at the same time. They will cripple your bandwidth and prevent that from working. But not only that, so we have to be able to distinguish not just that this is a site, but this is a site and what's going on this site. So is it somebody watching video, or is it somebody genuinely reading the news or researching stuff? Again, look at webmail. So if anybody's going to a webmail account, well, you don't necessarily know what's been emailed to their Outlook.com account or Office 365, whatever it may be. So again, are we going to permit blankly downloads and uploads of any type of data to that website, or do we need to control it and say, yes, you can go to Facebook or I say Hotmail, show my age there, but Outlook.com, and you can read your emails, but actually, do you know what? You're not putting our corporate data up there, and more importantly, you're not downloading harmful files to our network that can potentially infect us. So these things, they have to be replaced. The edge firewall, even if it's a fairly low-level stateful firewall, has a lifespan. The proxy and the filtering that's behind that definitely has a lifespan and is a renewable service. You can put those two things together, buy a next-generation firewall that comes typically with some sort of bundle that includes all of these things, and actually you'll find that the running cost of that is actually fairly low. From an IT point of view, you've got less to manage. From a space point of view, you've consolidated all of that. From a vendor point of view, you've got less relationships. And most importantly, if you want to tick the green box, you're burning less energy, you're creating less heat and everything else.
So Florian, perhaps to help illustrate this, perhaps give us an example particularly of something that a next generation firewall can do that an older style firewall can't.
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of the major difference and benefit of a next generation firewall is a next generation firewall will be able to look into every single bit of data coming in or coming out of the organization, regardless of the port, regardless of the protocol. And I think, Mark, you have a pretty good example in terms of what does it really mean for an organization?
Yeah, it means the things that aren't typically normal websites like Skype or BitTorrent can all of a sudden be identified and either allowed, prioritised or blocked, depending on their appropriateness to the business.